Alright, we're back to solving a linear equation, part 3. And I saved this one for last because most of us really don't care much for fractions. So what I'm going to do is get rid of those fractions. If you don't like fractions, get rid of them. I'm going to recopy this equation a little bit larger. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to go to a separate sheet. Well, let's see if we can fit it on here. We have 5 halves x minus 1/4 equals 7/4 x plus 2. Now the best way to deal with a fraction that equation that has fractions in it is to multiply through by a number that will remove the denominators, that will cancel out the denominators. And if I look at these two denominators, 2 and 4 and 4, if I multiply both sides of this equation by 4, watch what happens. In fact, if I really watch this part of the video twice, watch me do it once and then come back and do it with me and copy it down. But the first time, just watch so that you can understand what's going on. I'm going to put parentheses around each side of the equation, and I'll get my wavy line for my wall ready. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply both this side by 4 and this side by 4. Watch what that does. Now remember, when we're multiplying fractions, because now I'm going to multiply this 4 by both things inside, it's really 4 over 1. So 4 over 1 times 5 over 2. Remember, you multiply the tops and you multiply the bottoms. 4 times 5 is 20, and 20 divided by 2, 20 over 2, because the bottom will be 2, is just 10. 4 times 5 divided by 2 is 10. You can check this out on your calculator. Try 4 times 5 halves if you have a fraction key. You're going to get 10. And then I bring the x with, right? 4 times 5 halves is 10x. Now I'm going to multiply 4 over 1 times 1 over 4. These two numbers are inverses. And when I multiply an inverse by its a number by its inverse, I get 1. 4 over 1 times 1 over 4 is 4 over 4, which is 1. So on this side I get 10x minus 1. The fractions are gone. Let's try it on the other side. 4 times 7/4. You can just think of it as 4 times 7 divided by 4. 4 times 7 divided by 4, because this is 4 over 1, and the 1 isn't going to do anything to the bottom. So it's just going to end up being 4 times 7 on top and 4 on the bottom. 4 times 7 is 28. 28 divided by 4 is 7. So in other words, this 4 cancels out this 4 in the denominator, and I just get 7x. And then I have to do the 4 times the 2, and 4 times 2 is 8. So I get plus 8. So what I've done is I've gotten rid of the fractions entirely by taking the largest denominator, I have a 2, a 4, and a 4, and multiplying both sides by that number. It completely eliminates that denominator. And because 2 also goes into 4, it eliminated the 2. So the largest number that's a common multiple of both denominators. Alright, now I've got a really easy equation to solve. It looks much like the one in the last video. I've got x's on both sides. I go to my order of operations backwards and I ask myself, is there any addition or subtraction to undo? And as I mentioned earlier, I like to undo the subtraction first. You don't have to, but that's what I like to do. So right here, I'm going to undo minus 1 by doing plus 1 on both sides. Make sure you've got identical twins. Alright, now I'm crossing out these two. They're opposites. They make 0. And bringing down the 10x, putting the equal sign on the wall. I haven't done anything to 7x, and notice I'm adding the 1 to the 8, not to the 7x. 1 and 8 are like terms. 1 and 7x are not, because the 1 doesn't have an x on it. Put down my plus sign, and 8 plus 1 is 9. Now, go to this busier side of the equation and undo any addition or subtraction. Now, the 7x and the 9 are being added. Which one can I take away from both sides? Well, I can't take the 9 away because it's not 9x, it's just a plain 9. But I can take 7x away because I can do 10x minus 7x. So always think about that first before you decide what you're going to remove from each side. Alright, so I'm subtracting 7x from 10x and I get 3x, equal sign on the wall. The 7x's are gone, they're opposites. I have 7x take away 7x, that makes 0. I bring down the 9. I don't write down the 0 because I'm too lazy. Now I have the mini equation, 3 times what makes 9? Well, obviously, if I divide both sides by 3, I don't even have to think about this. The answer is going to be x equals 3, because 3 times 3 makes 9. I can show this step on doing the multiplication with division just to practice the process. So what I found out is that if I go back to my original equation and put a 3 where all the x's are, 3 times 5 halves minus a fourth, I don't feel like doing it. You can check it if you want. But it should give you the same thing as 3 times 7 fourths plus 2. This is the solution to this equation. Now, if I were you, I would watch this again because this first step can be very confusing to some people. And you will have a problem like this on one of your quizzes.